Hi, welcome to the Coaching Game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight my guest is Ivy Slater. Hi, Ivy.
Hey, Laurie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I've seen your name in the coaching world for years. I go, oh,
I've been around.
She's a dinosaur like me. And I'm thrilled that finally we were just meeting, and I finally got to find out exactly what you do because I've seen you around, like I said, kicking around. Let me just tell you a little bit about the Coaching Game. The Coaching Game is based on points of view. The Coaching Game, and this is the best creative tool I've found out there. It's a series of 65 cards that have visual images and captions on the bottom, and they're all designed to bring right and left brain thinking together. So it's like, whoa, I'm over here. I like it. So what I do is ask my guests to pick out some cards that are going to get their message out there. We did. We may use them. We may not. We'll see what happens. But first, I want to know, because you've been around for how'd you become a coach?
It was the strangest thing, I have to be honest with you. I had a printing company in New York City for close to 20 years. I was in the printing industry over 20. It's how I raised my kids. I lived in New York. I went to work. I was still able to be class parent. I was vice president of the PTA in elementary school. Like, I had this whole world thing going.
Yeah.
And I finally hit, and I'm sure a few of your viewers can relate to this, that midlife crisis. So I was in my mid-40s, and I felt it got slammed with it, just really hard. And I remember just working out, and I would cry. I would go to Starbucks, and I would say—
It is a crisis. Yeah.
It was. I was like, I'd ask for a cup of coffee after I dropped the kids at school, and I'd go to Starbucks, and I'd start tearing up. And they're like, lady, it's only coffee.
Really? We won't mess it up.
And I was just, for 30 days straight.
Oh, my God.
You could say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to me, and I cried.
Oh.
So, lo and behold.
Do you know what you were crying about, or was it just discontent?
It was, I was in a transition. Period. My dad had passed away the year before, and I was the one who held the family together. So I was, my sister who fell apart, my mom who was obviously going through a really hard time. My kids were really close to my dad. Everybody. So I just kind of picked up all the pieces and marched forward. I kept everybody going.
To the rescue.
That's what I do. I save people. And lo and behold, it was a year later. It was the anniversary of his passing, as well as my birthday month. And it was actually really soon. April 1st, I just started crying. From April 1st through the end of April, I cried and cried and cried. And a friend of mine who I was exercising with, we were working out, said, I said, I don't know what I need to do, but I know I need to do something next. And she said, you ought to become a coach. And I said, what? What are you talking about?
Did you think about
right. I thought about
exercise
soccer.
Coach?
No, I thought about soccer and kids.
Okay.
I thought I was a dancer. I have a degree in dance from college.
Okay.
I said, do you want me to go back and teach dance? Like, I'm not equipped for this anymore. My plie isn't what it used to be. And she goes, don't you know I'm in this coaching circle? I'm in a group, and you've always helped me with my business. You helped me when we were training. She goes, you helped me get out of the gym. You started helping me create my own business. You've helped me form group classes. I have this whole thing going. This is what you need to do. And my first question was, do you get paid for that?
You mean my first question was, you mean I can get paid for that? Because I've been doing it all along.
And this is what she said, you've been doing it all along. And I said, can I get paid for this? Because we were raising 2 kids in New York City. We needed 2 incomes. I had a very successful printing business. Yeah. And I started on this path, and this was in 2007. I got certified, and I opened Slater Success in 2008. And I had no idea what I was doing. And I said, I got this. I've owned a business. I know how to run a business. I know what I need to do. And I just started getting out there, and I networked, and I got things going. And I fell into the very, very traditional coaching model, which you don't exceed more than $30,000 a year on a high.
That's an optimistic tradition. The statistics are much lower, really. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And I kept saying, I'm kind of at 30. And I knew I hadn't made that little money since my mid-20s.
Wow.
And I said, something has to change. And obviously, it's not everything else.
I can't control the whole world.
Right. It's me. And I have to learn and approach this business differently. And so it took a few years. I am stubborn. It's the stubbornness that got me through building a printing business.
It took me 7 years to finally say I'm a full-time coach.
Right. And that's I think my stubbornness got me to building a printing business when women in printing was unheard of unless you were a receptionist or a bookkeeper in my early years. So I had to get over my stubbornness. I actually hired my own coach.
I've heard so many people say that they couldn't do it without their own coach.
Right. Yeah. And to this day, I still have at least 1 or 2 coaches I work with because as a business coach, I focus so much on my clients' businesses. I don't always create the time for Slater Success to build this brand, to actually make sure I am doing everything in my power that I can have the reach to help other women build their businesses. And
it's a dance.
It is a dance. And that's what I did in my early years. So
You danced.
I danced. I danced. So this is truly how I became a coach, and then how I got out of my own way in starting the business of coaching.
Yeah. So if you had, one of the cards she chose was success. So if you had to say, I think I know what you're going to say, but if you had to say a tip for success in any venture, it would be?
Success in any venture is, first of all, define what success means to you.
Beautiful.
We all want different things. It was really important to me to be a class parent when my kids were in elementary school. It was important to me to pick them up from school on Fridays. I defined success and created it in my terms. I'm happy, I'm in my 50s year now, okay? It's April. I just said it's my birth month. I'm full disclosure here.
You don't have to get carried away.
Success on my terms now, where I am in my life, what works for me and my family. I think the beginning of success is you have to decide what you want and why that's important to you.
I love that you said define success, because your success is not my success.
No.
And to strive, it doesn't make any sense to put all my energy in your success because I don't want to be class parent. I don't have any kids, so it means nothing. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, lovely first step.
And so define what you want and the why behind it. Because a big part of building a business, building a career, anything you're building is not only about taking action, but it's about the consistency in taking the action.
I like that. I have a question for you.
Sure.
If the why changes, do you change the definition?
The why very often, so what you want should change through the years.
Yeah.
Okay, but does the why you want it change?
Oh, okay. I see.
Okay.
So if you want fame and recognition, you might want to get it this way, but then in 10 years you might go, you know what? I need to slow it down or speed it up. Yeah.
What is your why? My why has been consistent with being my kids.
Okay, great.
Whether it was, paying for the swim classes or now my kids are in their 20s. Now I will disclose this as well. I reverse manipulate my children.
Let's hope they're not going to watch the show, yes.
They actually know this. So I love being together as a family. I love being together as a family. My kids, I love to travel. They love to travel. So if I create the funds to pay for a family vacation somewhere that everybody would love to go, they're bound to join in. So I get my quality time with my family, which is what's important to me, and has always been the why, is the quality time with my family.
Okay.
So and people have different whys. What is your why? Is it a long life? Is it health? Is it places? Is it traveling? Is what traveling brings to you? Is it homes and being a homeowner? Why that's important to you? And if your why changes, that's okay. It's okay. But when you talk about success, you have to know, what do you want? Why do you want it? Because then when we create the actions to make it happen, the consistency is there because the why is important. It's in your heart.
That's the foundation.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's the foundation. There's so many things. You're hitting so many good points. I love that you said, okay, create all this and define it, and then get out of the way. That's my favorite saying. Get out of the way and let the universe do its thing, you know? We are so often our own obstacles. And do you have an example of that? I know you have millions of clients. You don't have to divulge who and where, but an example of like how we get in our own way, and we don't realize it. We're not trying to.
We're not trying to. So I'll give you an example of a client. They are interior designers. They were very successful on the cover of the magazine with a 10-page spread.
Oh, yes.
Okay, a bunch of years ago. You're talking the height of success, right? Mm-hmm. They were about to go under financially. Okay. So, and one was a mother with 2 children with a third on the way, and the other partner was pregnant with her first.
Oh, no.
So when we got started, right, so we had to get out of the own way. How do we look at the business differently? How do we look at the business and actually create a plan that will happen while delivering 2 children?
Yeah.
Create the income to support, because they're both 2-income families. Mm. So it was a matter of, okay, they did X, Y, and Z. They did some great things. So evaluate what's working.
Okay.
Okay. Evaluate what's working. Okay. Identify it. Evaluate what's not working. Take a look at it and be brutally honest. And if you have trouble doing that, bring in an outsider, right? Bring in an objective opinion, because, Laurie, the one thing about business is there are babies. Our business becomes our baby, so we get very emotionally tied to it.
Sure.
So we lose a little bit of objectivity.
Just a touch, yeah.
Right? So it was a matter of, okay, now that we saw what was working, how do we multiply that? Get out of the way what's not working. And today, a couple of years later, they are hugely on the positive side with a waiting list of clients.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, but they could have stayed where they were. Mm-hmm. And they knew they were at the door to close. You know, they were ready to close doors, because as much recognition as they had gotten, which was absolutely amazing.
Well, people would kill for that, yes.
Right. They needed some restructuring on the back end.
And so they were wise enough to call you in and say, help.
I met them at an event.
Okay.
I met them, and they saw me speak as I was being interviewed, and she heard a little bit about my background, and she said, I'd like to talk to you, and we just sat down and had a conversation.
Okay. I think a different perspective is, and that's why I love the cards here, I think a different perspective is so important, because we go along and then we support this, whatever view we have, with all this evidence that isn't always really evidence. And we just keep, and this stuff that's telling you, like, you're going bankrupt. It's like, no, but I'm on this cover. I've got a 10-page spread. I must be doing something right. So, yeah, I think and that's where coaches come in. It's like, yeah, get someone else who's not the mother, who's not the baby. It's not their baby. Yeah.
Right, and it's interesting you said that, because I tell my clients and I tell audiences when I speak that your loved ones, beware, right? Okay. Your loved ones love you. Mm-hmm. Okay, my husband's a great business owner, very successful. But if I go to talk business with him, he's emotionally involved in my success because he loves me. My mother loves me. My sister loves me. My BFFs, my girlfriends want the best for me.
Right.
They don't always want to tell me some hard realities. So when you're looking I love the fact of bringing in an objective point of view. A different point of view, somebody who's going to be honest and evaluate what's working and what's not.
The way you're saying it, it's almost essential at this point, because you're gonna get sugar coated and oh, she's very sensitive on that, so we'll say something nice, and you're not gonna get the real truth. So yeah, I love that analogy. That's yeah.
right. And to be honest, with our loved ones, when we don't like what they say to us, we get angry with them.
Absolutely.
And rightfully so. We get downright pissed off, and we can say some nasty things back. We don't necessarily want to listen to their opinions, and it might be great advice or it might not be, but when you come in from an objective point of view,
yes,
you could really then look at things differently.
Speak to me about opportunities, because that was one of the cards that she chose also. And tell me about opportunities.
Well, I believe opportunity is everywhere.
I do too.
I truly believe opportunity is everywhere. The question is, are you ready to take your blinders off?
Again, yeah. It's like, can you open that perspective a little? Yeah.
And so often, people don't see it. They're not open to it. When we believe, like I left this morning and I said to myself, I'm going to have a great time today and I'm going to have great conversations. Mm-hmm. And I've had great conversations all day.
Cab rides, anything, yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, to the point is on my cab over here, I called somebody this morning. And, it was kind of like one of those sales calls and nobody picked up. And I was like, oh, here we go. She called me back. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry I missed your call. I was so looking forward to talking to you.
There you go.
I believe opportunity is everywhere.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think we have blinders on. I mean, so often you'll hear, never done that before, that's not the way we do it. And it's like, well, okay, let's give it a try. Yeah.
So how can you do things new? I have a colleague, a friend of mine, who uses the word newly.
Newly.
And
I
I think that's so cool.
How can you do things newly?
Do things newly.
I like that.
And it's starting things looking open, fresh. How can I look at this differently? It's the same Starbucks I passed, right? Or I go to the last X amount of years. It's the
Would
same.
you cried at?
The one I cried at.
All right.
The same gentleman who sits in the lobby of my office building. And how can I say good morning to him? New. See somebody new on the elevator.
Wow.
I
love that idea.
How do I do everything new? I walk
Just
to work.
to keep it interesting for you, if for no other reason, but pass it on. Yeah.
And what else do you see when you do that?
Yeah.
And because opportunity is everywhere. And are we being open to it?
Exactly.
Are we allowing it in? Are we seeing the first blooms of the season early this year?
Yeah, which was, I think, in February. And now we're back, we're getting there, Interesting, because I haven't, and this will tie into your book, I believe, I have a warped relationship with fear. It's like as soon as I acknowledge, oh, I'm afraid, then I have to do it, which maybe when I was younger that was smart. I'm not sure. I think I have to temper that with wisdom now and experience. But you wrote a book a little bit about fear. Tell me about your book.
It's Conquer Your Fear of Money, A Woman's Guide to Business Success. And what I did is I broke down how I built Slater Success Coaching as well as Slater Graphics, my printing company, over all the years. And how do you do that? How do you create consistent businesses that are successful? So I broke it down.
How do you?
Well, I wrote it out in the book, and it's really, I did Conquer Your Fear of Money as a workbook. So it's not.
Oh, I love workbooks.
Right.
Really?
And I'm so sorry I didn't bring a copy.
I love workbooks.
But it's very much about defining your goals, defining your action plans, tracking what you're doing. So I am not, as I said, okay, so I'm in my 50s, so I was not raised with a computer. A computer came a little later into my life. It came kind of midway through my printing business. So I'm not a natural Excel person. I'm not a natural QuickBook person. Yet I work with most of my clients really focused on money and the numbers in the business and how you plan of action for it. So I've made, and I share with this in the book, just fun, creative ways to track things. Circle charts, colorful Post-it note charts.
Oh, I want the book.
You got it.
Where can we find it? On Amazon?
You actually can find it on my website,
which is at the bottom.
It's at the bottom.
SlaterSuccessCoaching.com.
And you could just order it right through the site. We send it right out. I did it as a workbook because I said, well, I could describe everything or I could help people work through the plan.
I like workbooks because they're interactive. It's like
Right.
I get to participate. I love that idea. Wow.
You know, and I also in the book, what I did is I said, well, I could give you all my stories from all my years of business, but why don't I interview some of my clients and give you their stories and what they learned and what was impactful for them so you can see what works for you, different perspectives. When we looked at opportunity, when we see things like, wow, this woman can do that, wow, opportunities there, I'm ready, I can step in. And I think that's important when you actually see other people's visions, what they've achieved, and the obstacles that they've navigated.
Why do you think women are more afraid of money than, well, I guess that's an assumption, but I think I'm right. What's that Charles Barkley book? I could be wrong, but I don't think so. The women, I think, are more unfamiliar with money and as you say, fear it. Why do you think that is?
I think women carry a lot of responsibility. I think in general, women, whether you have children or not, we're nurturers by nature and we carry responsibility very heavily. So we're always afraid that we will not be able to take care of somebody. We want to take care of everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a parent or not, it's the nurturers in us. So we have a huge sense of care and take care of people. So we want to be able to do that. So we're afraid of losing the ability to do that.
Wow, I love it. She made a fear into a positive thing because we care about everybody and we think ahead. And I like that, but I think you're right. It's like, you know, where men will just go, okay, full steam ahead, and somebody will pick up the pieces if it doesn't work. We're the piece picker-uppers. Yeah.
And I also think, you know, women in business, and this is, you know, I could say a little bit, this is the science of Ivy. This is not any studies that I've done. I said I was a dancer. I have a degree in dance, a degree in communication, not a degree in science, so bear with me. Women work from our heart. We work from our heart. When we sell based on being of service from our heart core, from our center.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we struggle with stepping into our value. We tend to underprice and undervalue. We ask, are we worth it? A lot. So as women business owners, we're always second-guessing ourselves that way. Will they? And there are some exceptional men. I mean, I work with some exceptional men, so I am going to say there are exceptional men. But most men come from an ego base. So when something works, their ego says, yes, I did that. I could do it again. You know, a woman, when they succeed, they're like, oh, I helped somebody. Can I help somebody again?
And wasn't I lucky?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we're always looking at is women coming from their heart core, their heart center.
And okay, now speak to me about, okay, we're looking at women coming from their heart, but we have a tendency to take it all personally. Yes. How do we, and maybe that's good, but I don't think so. So how do you tell women to objectify what they're doing? And pricing is a hard thing for women. I agree. It took me forever to get up to what I felt was a decent price. It's like I edged my way up tentatively. Oh, they'll pay, okay. And
would they pay that? Would somebody pay that?
Exactly.
Can I charge this?
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of it, am I worth it? Will they get enough out of me?
Yes.
So immediately take the me out of the equation. And I do something where I take my headshot and I draw a big red X through it, and I tell people to actually get off yourself, get over it. Bottom line, get over yourself. I can't say it any nicer because I mean it with my greatest heart. Start looking at your potential client. Will the service help them? Where will it help them? Where are they now? And what will it help them achieve? Be who they are. Go where they want to go in their life, in their business, whatever you're doing. You're not selling you. You're selling the transformation of the client, whether that be that client's business, whether it be maybe a trip, a home, some inner work that you might do, relief of pain. That I have clients who are doctors. I have a lot of clients who are attorneys, that you're actually representing the transformation to where they are now, to where their goal is or where they want to be, and what's the value and the investment for them in that transformation.
That's so interesting, because I do a lot of mentor coaching, and my mentees will go, oh my God, I don't think I'm ready, and I don't have just all the questions yet. And I go, you know what? Nobody cares if you're ready. They really, it's that radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Yep.
You know, so let them know what can you do for them. They don't care about you and that you don't have the right question. It's like, what can you do for them? So that's a lovely strategy that I try to remember. It's like, it's not about me.
Right, and I just say, get over yourself. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Take yourself out of your equation. You're not as important as you think you are.
Exactly. Don't take, what is it? One of the 4 rules from Don Miguel Ruiz. It's like, don't take nothing personally.
Yeah, don't take yourself so seriously is what I say.
It's not important. Now, you've got an event coming up. Tell me
Yes.
about that. What is that?
Really exciting. This is the 3rd year we're doing this.
Ooh.
So Slater Success has been around for 8 years, and it's the 3rd year we're doing a live event in New York City. And it's a day to spend with me and my team where we're working on business building activities. So we're going to define what success means to you.
Wow.
We're going to start looking at the action plans in money, marketing, sales, and mindset, the key component to success, to make that happen, and the actions that you can and then will commit to taking to actually shift and grow your business to what works in your life.
And you're going to do that in one day.
We're going to do as much as we can in one day.
Love it.
And we are going
love
to
it.
end the day with an outstanding reception, a networking reception where we can kick back, enjoy each other, truly take the principles of creating great relationships,
Yeah.
which is what a foundation of a business and a life is based on.
Now, when is that going to be?
It's May 17th.
Okay, in
And
New York City.
It's in New York City, and you could also find the details at Slater Success Coaching. We
guess-
keep it simple.
I guess you got to go over to Slater Success Coaching and see what you do. All right, we've got a minute. Tell me, you had a formula. Success plus opportunities equals freedom. Tell me that in 30 seconds. What's that mean?
When you actually define your success and you are open to opportunity, you enable yourself to have the freedom to live the life that's important to you and live it on your terms, your way. Your business will support you, your friends and family will support you. And that's why we're all on this earth, to live a life of freedom where we're happy within ourselves and happy in the life we're living.
When you mentioned midlife crisis, it was like, I think we all had them, and it was like, is that all there is? There's got to be more. Wait, I'm getting older now. I haven't found the secret yet. So yeah, I can only thank you, Ivy Slater, for coming on the coaching game. You were marvelous. Check out her website. She's got all kinds of cool things. I'm going to get my hands on that workbook. Thank you so much for being a great guest.
Thank you for having me, Laurie.